Hey there, listeners. I'm Isaac, and I'm more than half a person.
I hope so. I'm Claire, and I'm...
Did I throw you off?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, and I'm a whole person, and then I'm like...
That's the same thing.
Yeah, well, also, it makes it sound like I'm better than you.
No. Well, actually, I guess if I'm between a half and if I'm more than a half, I'm not necessarily a whole.
But you are, okay. Anyway,
but everybody's a whole. It's absurd.
I'm Claire. And I am excited for the Renaissance Fair.
Whee! All right.
And this is
Make That Game,
where we pitch the latest,
the greatest
new video game ideas
that aren't ever going to get made. And folks, we might struggle to get through this episode because it's apparently a silly, goofy episode.
Yeah, we don't usually record this late at night. It's not even really late at night.
It's not late.
But
we've recorded later,
have
in fact.
I
yeah.
don't know about that.
We have.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got so many better memories of recording than I do.
It's because they're all so special to me.
Aw, that's so sweet. All right. Well, on this show, we pitch game ideas to each other and to you, listeners. But they might never be made. So, Isaac, do you have a game to pitch to me today?
I do. It's called It Doesn't Belong in a Museum.
Nice. I'm already bought in. I love a museum. Continue.
Yeah, it's reverse Indiana Jones, I guess. I mean, obviously it's a reference.
Oh my gosh.
To India because that's his thing. He says it belongs in a museum.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't research this, so I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's an Indiana Jones quote.
I'm going to research it while you keep pitching.
And the idea... So this originally started as a slightly different idea, and I thought of a way to expand it. So I'm going to describe the original idea, and it was literally based on the Nazca mummy, the alien mummies that have been in the news, because I'm so done with them.
Yeah.
And all it was going to be is Nazca mummies are like on screen, and you bash them with a baseball bat to destroy them because they're so obviously fake and nothing. And I'm angry at them, and I needed to vent frustration. But anyways, this is that idea, but expanded. Not only do you stop nonsense like that from ever making it to a museum, but also you break into museums and you take artifacts that have been stolen from other countries.
Yeah.
And you bring them back to the country that like deserves them.
Yeah, no, this is where I thought you were going with it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's a way better, but I really enjoy the original vision because it was literally just a guy tossing the mummies, and you like on the other side of the screen there's a museum, and you have to protect the museum from the mummies by bashing them out of the air.
That's really fun. Bat. I feel like you could have just
that's probably one of the game modes. Like that's probably like in between levels.
Maybe
you have
it's
to
like
protect
a secret.
museums from garbage.
It's like a secret game.
Yeah,
like you can unlock it. But I also think you could have saved that game and just pitched it another episode.
That's true. I'm basically doing a double pitch.
Yeah, I love it. I did look it up. You are correct. It is Indiana Jones.
God. So more specifically, if anybody's familiar with the gameplay of Hotline Miami, that is actually what I'm envisioning, like the break into a museum aspect to be. Only instead of like bashing people, because Hotline Miami's thing is it's like an ultra violent, like the original John Wick, in a way, in its hyper violence, like action sequences, but John Wick is a movie. I'm just trying to say that...
I'm confused.
Yeah, I confused myself. But anyways, if you know what Hotline Miami is, you have a good picture. But it's like top down, you run through. Instead of bashing security guards in the head, you're bashing alien mummies.
Why are the alien mummies there?
Because I hate them so much.
But it has nothing to do with what you're doing.
But I needed an enemy, and I did not think that bashing museum security guards in the head was
All right.
behavior I wanted this game to encourage.
Okay.
So you bash alien mummies instead. Basically, you destroy all the fake worthless things in the museum, and then the things with actual value you snag, and then escape the museum with them. And then, the original Kirby in Dreamland ends with Kirby inflating into a massive blimp, and the villain had stolen all the food in the kingdom.
Yep.
So Kirby inflates into the blimp with the castle under him, and then all the food falls out of the castle back over the kingdom again.
Correct.
That is what happens at the end of this game with all the artifacts that you've stolen back.
Amazing. And it just like floats back into the lands where it belongs.
Yes.
This is great. And it's almost tangentially to learn about kids, right? Because it's teaching it's teaching children like ethics and also where things come from.
Yeah. Learn them up, kids. It doesn't belong in a museum.
I don't know if it really is, but I mean, it definitely has an educational element of
Yes.
like...
An awareness element.
And this is set at the British Museum, correct? Or is it just a random museum?
I'm sure there's other museums.
Can you call it the Schmidtish Museum?
Yes. The museum... It's a museum that rhymes with the Schmidtish Museum.
Yes, the British Museum.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, that's my game idea.
I really
Get those
like it.
filthy alien mummies out of my sight.
I like it. It's got. I'm confused by the mummy part of it. I think you have two ideas going at once.
Yeah,
I know you hate the mummies. I think if you hate them that much, then I challenge you for our next episode to have a game fully about those mummies, because I think you're still working through this. I think you need to really work that out.
I might be.
I'm a little concerned that every game after this, if you don't get a full game, will include them somehow. So,
hey, maybe the world needs more Nazca mummy games.
Okay, the things you hate, and needs more of that.
Yeah. I will just go into ultimate recluse mode, and I will just remove myself from the internet so that I never have to see any of it again.
I think you need to just quickly explain to the listeners in case they have somehow missed this.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, there was a hearing in the Mexican Congress where a known hoaxer and fraudster presented evidence that mummies grave robbed from Peru. And, like, if the story is true, they were based like they were acquired by grave robbers and from grave robbers. And these are said to be alien mummies, and these were presented in 2017 and debunked in 2017.
Oh boy.
But they were presented again.
Of course.
Anatomically, like, basically identical corpses, mummified corpses. But they said, the same people said, this time, this is the real one. The previous one, yes, it was fake. This one's the real one. And there are a large number of people who are like, well, now let's have an open mind about this. Just because it doesn't match our perceptions of what's true doesn't mean it's not true. Let's give them a chance. They're presenting a lot of strong evidence this time, but it's like when 20 fraudsters get back together and they try the same fraud again, but promise you that this time it's different. It's like, fool me once.
It's like Firefest 2.
Yeah, Firefest 2.
Which, like, is quote unquote happening.
It's totally happening.
It's definitely happening.
Just like these mummies are the... Why would there be fake mummies and real mummies? And why would they...
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have had you go into it. But
anyways, what's your game idea?
Okay. My game idea is super simple. Like, so simple.
Firefest 2?
No.
Oh.
Because that's a game that would never exist. I guess then it'd be perfect for this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Firefest 2 is actually, like, quote unquote a thing. Like, I don't even want to pretend like it might happen, but it's supposedly happening.
Well,
allegedly going to happen.
You'll be eating crow in 2024 when it happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. Anyway, so yeah, my game's very simple. It is an arcade game.
Okay.
It is an arcade game.
Quarter muncher.
And you go, it's just jousting. It's arcade jousting. And you have a little horse and you ride it forward. Is this
Okay.
already a game? You're looking like this is already a game.
So there is an arcade game from the 80s
Oh, no.
called Joust.
Oh no, I didn't look it up.
However, that game is about riding around on alien birds with a lance.
Okay, mine is solidly just set in the Middle
Yeah.
Ages.
So yours is different. Yours is comfortably different.
Wow, I can't. I'm sorry, I messed up.
No,
I
you
lost the
didn't.
podcast.
Oh no, that's not something that happens. No, you didn't lose the podcast. I mean, I'm sure 99% of the game ideas I've came up with are also ideas that exist. We can't know all games.
No. But anyway, with this one, I was thinking it could be kind of like a horse girl game. So you can pick your horse and like pick a little outfit and do a lot of like, I mean, I know it's arcade, but like you can scroll through the choices.
Yep.
You can pick like the color scheme of your little outfit. And, if you get a good enough score in the first couple rounds, you can get the wreath from the pretty lady.
Oh, the favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, in a joust at the Renaissance Fair, which is completely historically accurate,
Yes.
there's like a little wreath with flowers on it, and you put it on the end of the lance of the knight that you want to win and that you have a little crush on.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking. I think this also happens in A Knight's Tale, a very historically accurate film.
Yeah, especially the part where all the medieval peasants in the bleachers start stomping their feet and they sing Queen's We Will Rock You.
Yeah, that song is historically accurate.
Yeah,
Queen actually covered it.
No.
They found
actually
it.
Queen wrote it in the 1200s.
Yeah.
They're just vampires.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Think about that. I'm thinking about it.
It's true. It's all
So yeah,
facts.
I guess that's all it really is. So like you would use, I think like two hands. You got one that's going the directions of your horse and the speed, I guess, and then one that's that's like a joystick that's moving the lance.
Oh, so you're aiming the lance while you're moving the horse.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. Okay.
Is it incredible?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was actually struggling to figure out how you make like the gameplay of like a joust. Like the entire reason why you're on alien birds in the game that I'm thinking of is because, there wouldn't be much to do otherwise. Like that adds like a three-dimensional it's not 3D gameplay, it's actually 2D gameplay, but like you're jumping around, like you're doing stuff, and your idea is just to stab someone else with your lance. But like adding this whole element of you actually gotta aim it, there we
Yeah.
go. I was like, otherwise it's what your horse moves at the other
Right.
horse and like you press A at the right time to like stab them, but no, the aiming, boom,
Well,
there's
and also,
gameplay right there.
and there's also the because you'll watch jousts, again, very historically accurate. I know exactly how they work, and they'll sometimes pull up their lance because you can also get caught. Like if you hit the wrong way, if you hit in the wrong spot, you can lose points. And you also, like, if your lance catches and you're holding onto it, you fall off your horse and then you lose. So, like, you could also kind of navigate, like, whether or not you're going to try to hit it all.
So, okay, arcade game. Tell me if I'm wrong on this. 2-player or versus AI, and each player is up on a like horse's saddle.
Oh my god.
Like the racing games
So I
on like
hadn't-
jet skis and stuff
I
are.
had not considered that, but I think that's so funny that, yes. Like, can you imagine the visual of playing this game if you're sitting on, like, basically a carousel pony?
Well, yeah, and what I'm thinking is when you lose, when you get dehorsed, it's actually like spring loaded. There's like a bunch of padding.
All right, I don't know
and
if
then you get launched into the padding like a rodeo bull.
I don't know if we can legally ever have that happen ever, but
I mean, if you sign a waiver, anything's okay.
maybe that can be a version you can purchase. For
Like the
yourself.
fact that drunk people are allowed to get on rodeo bulls at the bar, mechanical bulls at the bar.
No, it is wild. It's definitely wild. There
If
was
that's allowed, arcades can have a little
horse knock you off.
a little horse knock you off onto padding. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we definitely have to at least have them on horses. I think that's incredibly funny. Yeah, so that's the game. I guess I can't call it joust though, so we have to call it something else.
Joust with 3 exclamation marks.
Okay.
Joust with an exclamation mark. With the I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it has a different name, but like the Spanish exclamation
Or it
mark.
goes in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure that makes it distinct.
sure.
Punctuation is important. Anyways,
What if we call it, wait. The Joust.
okay. Yeah.
Hey,
I'll buy
if
it.
Suicide Squad can do it.
$15,000 heading your way. I hope that's enough
I don't
to
know if that's enough for
That's
that.
not. No. No,
That's
do not.
not. I don't think that is.
That
but-
is if one person worked on this game for 3 months, like maybe, like
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, that's my game idea.
all right.
All right.
What's
I have a
next?
question. I have a question for you.
What?
And I actually don't. Maybe I should have had you prepared for this question.
Oh geez,
but I
it's
will
a
say
big
I
one.
actually had a different question ready, and then this one just arrived to my
Oh,
mind.
so you got to jump on it.
And
when
so I
you
got to
can.
jump on it. What happened to Flash, and why did they take it away from us? And can we ever play those games again? Because I loved it so much. Maybe I just wanted to ask this so I could talk about how much Flash meant to me. But as you were talking about your museum game, I was remembering a game that I loved where you're like a little spy and you have to do all these little tasks and avoid lasers. Like, I went to miniclip.com every day after school and played Flash games. I played Flash games all the time. I played them on the Disney Channel website. I played them on the Nickelodeon website. I loved Flash games. And I wish I could play them to this day. And when they took Flash away from us, I thought, this isn't a big deal. Then I realized I'll never, ever be able to play Flash games again. And so I'm just curious since you know some things about programs and stuff, what the deal is with that.
So I did not So yeah, I could have prepared for this. I did not pay much attention to it when it was happening because.
Do you want me to ask later?
No. I can give a satisfactory answer.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
One of the reasons why is because it stopped being necessary at a certain point. Like when HTML5 came out,
I remember that.
that basically allowed you
HTTPS. No? Never
No.
mind. Go ahead.
that and like the Canvas stuff basically allowed you to do anything that you would have done in a Flash game in the browser.
Okay.
And like Flash could have never handled like a full 3D browser game, but you can actually have those. And it might have not even been HTML5 specifically, but that's when I remember the capabilities of like what you could do in a browser without Flash just seemed to jump a lot. And in my head, I'm thinking that HTML5 is like the big contributor to that. I don't know exactly why they completely killed it off beyond that, because like people have obsolete things all the time.
Right.
I don't know if it was a burden to continue like basically supporting this obsolete thing in new browsers. I don't know the specifics of like why they felt that they needed to sundown it. But can you play Flash games? The answer is actually yes. There is a website that I don't remember the URL of off the top of my
I
head.
have to find it for the show notes.
Yeah. That has an emulator for Flash in it. I don't think it has like every Flash game ever made, but I'm pretty sure that like it has preserved some of them. And I think if there are emulators, like you can run Flash locally, basically, on like effectively an emulator. So if you can find the files for
I feel like that would be tough, but okay.
whatever game you're missing, you can run
All
it through
of
the
them.
emulator. Because like Adventure Quest, I actually watched a like 2-hour video on Adventure Quest, which was a Flash game, and you can still actively play Adventure Quest by downloading their client. It basically, they emulate Flash locally on your system for you to continue to play.
But I don't
Adventure
even
Quest.
know the names of these games I would play.
Ooh.
I don't even know
I mean, if
anything about these games.
if they were on a specific website,
Miniclip.com.
yeah, miniclip.com. Miniclip.com or some like archival effort might have like, here's the miniclip.com emulator. Like,
All right.
it's a there might be a website that effectively emulates all of
Okay.
Mini Clip's
Well, that
catalog.
answers one of my questions. I have a new question now based on what you just told
Okay.
me. Why is no one making these games anymore, seemingly? And let me explain. So you said we got rid of Flash because the browser could just do it. We didn't need Flash. So where are my quote-unquote Flash-like games? Where are my tiny mini clip games that are just little cute platformers, or little ski man down the ski slope game, or little Santa jumping on things game? These are, I don't remember these well, folks, but I loved them. Are people not making those anymore? Did they just stop? Like, can I still play a game like that on the internet? Because I went to pbskids.org, a place that used to have fun games, and everything is an app now. They're like, download my mobile game. And I'm like, no.
Yes. Well, that's what it is. All games that, like, the games that you're talking about that used to be Flash games, they're now apps.
But why can't
You
I
go
play
to
it
the
on my
App Store.
computer?
Well, you can
No,
with
I
an
can't.
emulator.
No. So I have to either emulate Flash or emulate my phone. I can't just play a game on the computer anymore.
I mean, there are a wide variety of games on the computer that you can play. Not exactly the ones that you're
They're not
thinking
like
of.
this. Okay, well, I know this just turns into like Claire rant time, but I do want to, I don't know, I'm learning. I didn't know
Yeah.
all these things, but one of the reasons I loved these games as a kid, well, one was
They were
because
so easy to like just find and play, and you didn't need
Yeah.
to do the download. And
exactly, and I
Yeah.
didn't have very fast internet, but like we could run these, like that was fine. And
now we have the fastest internet on the East Coast.
that's true, we do. Maybe not the fastest, but like the fastest
No,
consumer.
literally the fast. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, the fastest. I would say we have the fastest consumer grade internet on the East Coast. But it was like very low lift for so as someone who I didn't really think of myself too much as a gamer. I could just go on a website and just play a little game for an hour, and I didn't even like the fact that I don't even know the names of these games just shows how like low lift they are, I guess, to both learn and to find. You know, like I just go on Miniclip. I would go to seasonal games because I liked playing like winter games and like Christmas games and Halloween games. And I just click on one that has a cute looking art style and I just play it. And I don't have to learn. I don't have to feel like I'm good or bad. Like I didn't feel competitive. I didn't feel, it was just fun. It was just pure fun. And I miss that feeling. And I'm chasing that high ever since.
Yeah.
And it just feels, it feels like nothing replaced it. Like I understand, phasing out is the word I was looking for. Phasing out an old product, but nothing came in its stead.
I'm sure that you could find a website that has a collection of little HTML5, little canvas games.
I mean, I
little
would
browser
think
games. I'm sure that there still exists browser games, but you have to. I left them all in one piece.
Oh
my
gosh, that's gonna be my new quest. It's gonna be my new quest. Yeah. Anyway, so sorry this was more of a Claire rant, but I did kind of learn at least a little bit more as to why this happened and where all the games went, which the answer is mobile. And there's nothing wrong with mobile games. I like mobile games. I play mobile games, but I don't like downloading them onto my phone and then just having a bunch of games on my phone. Like I just want to play.
You got games on that phone?
I got games on this phone.
You got games on your phone?
I do. I prefer to just click in, click out, especially because I might never play that game again. That's the other benefit to like miniclip.com. I would just go there, I play a game. If I liked it, great, had a good afternoon. I might never ever play that again, but it was still worth it to me.
There was a game that you could play back when Twitter existed, folks. There was a game that someone made. It was basically a Pokemon like game.
Mm-hmm.
You captured monsters and then you could battle them.
Yeah.
You could play it in a tweet. It was
Wow.
some pretty extensive hacking. I'm gonna have to find that game because that was an interesting thing.
That is pretty cool, yeah.
I don't know if you can still play it in an X.
I kind of doubt that, but
I'm sure they shut that down in one of the 17 times that they broke
that is very cool
X.
and innovative. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good on whoever did that. I'll try to find your name so that we can credit you in the show notes. I gotta find that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, well, I mean that kind of wraps that up, I guess. Just R.I.P. Flash, And Isaac and I will now be on a quest to find me some cutie little Flash games that I can just enjoy because I really do miss them. And also, I loved like the branded ones too, like the Disney and the Nickelodeon ones. Many people have lots of great memories with SpongeBob games, but not many people talk about the Kim Possible. The rat had a nacho stand and you had to fulfill orders. That was very good. That was my favorite.
Okay, so the rapid fire round.
Yeah, so we're going to go into the rapid fire round, which is when we have 5 minutes to come up with a game idea based on 3 randomly generated words. And we need to come up with a name for this game idea that we only have 5 minutes to figure out. And that's what we're going to do. Once I find my browser window. And
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Yeah?
This feels like a prank. This feels like
Okay.
randomwordgenerator.com is pranking me because the words they gave me are marine, map, and flag. This feels like a joke. It feels like a lie.
One Piece the video game.
Take a picture of me right now so that the listeners at home know I did not make this up.
One Piece the video game.
This is real. This is real.
One Piece the video game. One Piece the video game. Have I said it enough times where it's become a full game idea?
So I mean, here's the game, right? I mean, it like.
So there was a game called Sid Meier's Pirates, which is about managing a pirate fleet, like
which I guess is kind of this, but I mean, yeah, I think the flag. I don't know. Maybe we're just leaning into One Piece, the video game, because we've been watching One Piece. I mean, this definitely pulls pirate to me.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But what's the gameplay? What are we pirating? Is it that we have to find a map and find a treasure? Is that what we're going to go about? Are we looking for the One Piece? Or are we going to do something else with it?
Okay, so not looking for the One Piece. Well, okay. No, we can make this a simple story. We don't need to make a lofty, expansive, like infinitely playable, like randomly generated, like open world pirate game, right? We can make this a very focused. You are a pirate. You have a ship. Steal from One Piece a lot, right?
Okay.
Because I don't think the idea of like Marines is like is that a thing? Did pirates have to compete with Marines outside of One Piece?
I mean,
In Our Flag Meets Death, are there Marines?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's also Marines in well, they're not called Marines, but like the Royal Navy, which is like the same thing.
Well,
ish. It's not the same thing. Okay, but but that's in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
I think there's always a government entity on the sea fighting pirates.
So, okay, I envision.
There it is.
I combined envision and imagine.
I don't think we want that.
So, okay. Imagine it to be like an RPG. Mm-hmm. Very pseudo action. I want there to be combat, like turn-based combat, but part of the turn-based combat is like a little quick time event or like maybe a fencing mini game.
Okay.
A swashbuckling mini game to determine how much damage you deal or take, respectively.
Okay.
So, like, it's not just you press the attack button, it shows the attack animation, and then you're done with it. No, you press the attack button, and then either you have to put, like, an input in, and if you do it perfectly, you do a critical hit. If you miss all of it, you do a complete miss, or otherwise you just do normal damage, like that kind of thing going on. And yeah, you recruit your party, aka your crew, and they have different roles. You fight Marines and you follow the map. Like the thing that sets the game off is that you find a map on like your home island. Like maybe it was your father's map or your grandfather's map, or maybe you just found a map, like a pirate.
Yeah, we set it up. You get a map.
You get a map. And then the end of the game is you getting the treasure. And the treasure was the friends you made along the way.
No. And a real treasure.
And there was also a gold coin.
All right. This is called Two Piece.
Also, you get to design your flag.
Oh, obviously. Oh, that was yes.
You get to
I'm
design
glad you
your
said it out
map.
loud because I just thought it and then was like, obviously.
No, it's important to put that down.
Yeah.
So it's not 2-piece.
Just had to make that. I just had to try.
It's the quest for the Golden Roger.
For those of you who don't know.
You know what? That's done. 27 seconds left.
Okay. We just had to. Now it's locked in. The quest for the Golden Roger.
Yeah, you can explain my little funny, but I think everyone got it.
Okay, great. So that's our first rapid fire
Round
game.
2.
It's time for
Game
round
2. Game 2. Game 2.
Game 2. Game 2.
I'm going to start in 1, 2, 3.
I wasn't ready. All right. Crackpot.
Oh, one word.
Yep.
Okay.
Fold.
Okay.
Level.
Okay.
Level could be an easy peasy one if we just want to be like, the game has levels.
Well,
but...
you see, only the Tartarians could create geometry so level. Only the Tartarians could pull
made
that
a
off.
Tartarian game.
Oh, are you calling me a crackpot?
Oh my! So it's a conspiracy theory game.
Yeah, I don't know where fold comes
I was gonna
into.
say, I'm not sure where that.
Only a Tartarian could carve such beautiful folds in marble to make it look like real fabric.
I don't know what this game is. What you're describing isn't a game.
It's an architecture game. You design and build buildings. You are a Tartarian.
Okay, you need to then describe what a Tartarian is in the fastest way you possibly can.
The Tartarian conspiracy theory is basically the idea that 100 years ago there was an advanced civilization that created all the fancy buildings you see these days, because modern humans are only capable of creating like brutalist, bare bones cement, non-beautiful architecture.
Okay, so it's a game where you play as a Tartarian, and it is an architecture game, basically like an architecture sim.
Yeah.
Which actually The Sims was supposed to be, fun fact.
Oh, yeah. So basically, I'm imagining it as like the building aspect of Sims, strip the sim aspect out. And, it's you have a budget and you build beautiful buildings.
The items that you have access to build. I almost think it'd be fun to like really lean into the conspiracy. To have, you can build as a Tartarian or you can build as a human. Oh. And when you build as a human, you have less resources and like it's like impossible to make the buildings look good with what you're given.
So my thought for that aspect of it was actually that as levels go on, you have less and less stuff. So instead of a game where you get more stuff, you get less as it goes on.
Okay. I like that, but it also implies that Tartarians evolved into humans, which isn't true.
That is true.
In the Tartarian conspiracy, they all got wiped out by a giant like event, right?
Yeah, I think so. In like the 1920s.
I don't know. Everything I know about them, you told me, so.
Yeah.
And just like quick disclaimer, we do not believe that this is real. This is not real.
Maybe you don't.
No.
You're right.
I am not. Yeah. We are not allowed to say things in a public forum that are not
allowed to joke.
You are allowed to joke. You just have to make sure people know it's a joke.
Yeah. I can't do my deadpan thing with the Tartarians.
Not on a podcast, you can't. Not in this economy.
All right. So, yes. Is that a game idea?
Tartarchitecture.
Tartarchitecture. With 1 minute and 54 seconds left on the clock. Tartarchitecture. I think the perfect game name.
I guess we didn't fully decide like how the levels would play out, whether you degrade into something or you can.
I did already stop the timer,
I know. Well,
but because you vetoed the idea, I assumed we would go with the
switching
idea
back and
that
forth.
you said.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to stick to like original Tartarian lore.
Yeah.
That's
giving them a lot of respect.
I've said it before. I think conspiracy theorists. I like conspiracy theories because I think they're really interesting, like what ifs. I think they should all just write speculative fiction and be done with it. Like
yes,
like it's very fascinating stuff. It's just not true, which is what novels are. So like do that. I think it's very good. Anyway, all right. Are you ready for our final rapid fire round?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off.
You said lip off.
Oh no. Okay. No.
I know you said lift off, but my brain heard lip off.
That's the title for our next game.
Lip off. Okay. Hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Gear. Reject.
Okay. Another One Piece reference.
No. Is it? No.
All the One Piece heads out there know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
You have about 800 episodes more to dig through before you understand this one.
We're not doing another One Piece game.
Fine. Okay. What were the words? Gear, hierarchy, and reject?
Correct.
Oh, man. Okay.
Maybe it's like an inventory management. So you have to reject some of your gear.
Oh, that's an interesting. And then there's a hierarchy of like importance, right? Of like what goods are important.
Ooh, and maybe it can be a little bit of like unpacking the game or I don't know if actually unpacking does this, but it's speculated, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to cut that out. Anyway, it can be like what you decide to put in your inventory besides what you want to reject can impact like what you can do and what like tracks you can take in the game.
Okay. All right. Okay. I do like the idea that we like take like Diablo, for example, and then we take the inventory management aspect of it and then we make that the whole game instead of like the grinding monsters and stuff. Like
I don't know Diablo, but I'll
it's an inventory management game
great.
at its core.
Yeah.
It's just it's like action based, but okay, we strip out the action, we make the entire thing about managing the inventory and like also give it like story based choices. Yeah, so like
if you get rid of your climbing gear, then you can't explore the mountain area, but you can still do other things, and
yes. Yeah. And then the hierarchy aspect is like your own personal hierarchy, like of needs.
Right.
Like, man, climbing gear takes 8 slots in my inventory.
I could use that for 8 fish.
I could use that for 8 fish, or this like. There's I don't know, something else equally as big, skis, right? Like, oh, do I want the skis or the climbing gear? What am I more likely to come into anytime soon? Or do I want to toss both of them and just take 8 fish or like 7 fish and a diamond? And yeah, and then you just play through the game. I assume it's like a randomly generated journey somewhat, so like it's a different game each time.
Somewhat. I don't know about that.
With like core story beats. So like
yeah, when I think about inventory management games, I also think about Subnautica.
Yes.
Which is also a survival game, but yeah, that one's not random.
That's true. Actually, on the surface, I always expected it to be, but then when we actually played it,
it's not, because we can look up guides, thank God.
Yeah.
Because I was lost.
But I was thinking more like there not being much gameplay in between like inventory management. Like I almost imagine it being like nodes on a map and like you journey from node to node and like.
So it's kind of a roguelike a little. If it regenerates each game time you play?
Yeah, I would say that would be like a roguelite situation. So yeah, and then so like certain story beats always happen, like the 5th node, let's say, like the 5th encounter on the map is always going to be like with a certain character who will give you a certain item, and like the 10th node and the 15th node or something. Yeah. And then like the game always ends on like the 100th node, but like there's branches or something, so like you have 100 total nodes that you go through. I'm just kind of using this node framework mostly as an example, but I think because we only have 20 seconds left, it's actually the game. So you go through the nodes, you click. Wait,
you said 20
do the
seconds?
Inventory. Yeah,
we need to name it. I was like, stop talking about inventory.
Inventory management, the game.
What's in my backpack?
What? Okay, 13 seconds.
You hate it.
13 seconds left. What's in my backpack?
You hate it. You hate what's in my
backpack. It's not my naming style.
You but you liked Pawpaw needs a new pair of shoes, but you won't take what's in my backpack?
I did take it because I stopped the timer.
You took it only because it was the only option.
No, I had 15 seconds to argue it if I really wanted to.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna fight you on this one, but I do feel like you just took it because it was the only option. What's in my backpack? Isaac's giving me a completely blank look before he laughed.
I just can't think of any video games where the title is a question. That's like a game show name. What's in my backpack is a game show name, not a video game name. That's.
I think a better name, and I know we're out of time, but would be what's in your backpack, because then it like calls.
That's still a game show name.
I know, but it like calls you into the game.
I like video game names to me are like backpacker, right? Like
I'm just like walking down GameStop and everything's normal. It's just what's in my backpack.
You see.
Like maybe that stands out. Maybe it's
maybe it does. Maybe people are just missing their opportunity to.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm literally crying. Okay. Well, this is why we probably shouldn't record podcasts this late, but we did, and now you have it, and it was very nice.
Yep.
And if you want to send us an email, you can send us an email at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can leave us a rating and review, but maybe like don't base it off this episode. Maybe base it off of another one.
If you base it off this episode, just nice. That's all you need to leave for your review.
Yes,
nice.
Right. Nice. And then 5 stars, please.
Yes.
And then we're also on social media. You can find us at Make That Game Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And you can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/makethatgame. And if you heard a game today that you really want to make, as long as you name it, what's in my backpack, we encourage you to get out there and
make that game.